Ray is along with us. Randy is the new general manager at WBOW and a very big sports enthusiast. Randy, glad to have you alongside tonight. And Randy is very familiar with football, has played a lot of it, has officiated football, and I think you're going to be in for a pretty good treat here this evening.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard quite a bit about the Castle High School football team and their 7-0 record. Highly regarded in the state of Indiana, and from all indications of what we've heard tonight from coaches and from fans who are fans of North High School, it should be a very, very competitive football game.
You know, the North Patriots, a problem last week, and really a surprise, I thought. They went down to Bloomington South and played a ball game, which was played last Saturday evening. They lost that one. Final score 27-6. Stats here indicate that they racked up a total of 396 yards and still only put 6 points on the scoreboard. And that does kind of put you in a hole to get that many yards and score only once.
Certainly does. It indicates that you had some breakdowns, and it also indicates you had some turnovers in the ball game, because if you can run up a lot of yards between the 20s, but what counts is what happens when you get inside that 20 and get it in the 10 yards of the end zone.
And you see that happen so many times, the teams just cannot penetrate when they get inside the 20. Well, what's that going to do to Terre Haute North? Coach Wayne Staley simply said this week, he said, we have been awfully flat after that loss, and he said, I don't know if we can get ready for this ball game or not. However, I have a sneaky feeling that was a little bit of a psych job, and as North Patriots will be ready for this Castle Ball Club tonight. Keep in mind, this Castle Ball Club is the same team that defeated Terre Haute South early in the year by a 35-0 score. And South, as we all know, has a very respectable ball club. So that's something that we can compare this with tonight. Well, both teams have now returned to the field. We're just a couple of minutes away from the kickoff of our game of the week. And we'll be back with all the action in 30 seconds. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Agricultural buildings are unlike most conventional buildings, and they require specific manufacturing procedures to meet the needs of the farmer. Designing the insurance plans for the agricultural building industry means that the Forest Shearer Agency must know the product very well and then meet the requirements of the client. Forest Shearer designs insurance plans for all types of business. Forest Shearer, an independent insurance agency working for business and industry throughout the Midwest.
Well, there's, of course, a full slate of high school football action throughout the area tonight. It's hard to believe there are only 3 regular season games left in the 1982 season, and this season has really clicked along. Of course, North and South hopeful for a playoff spot. The Patriots look like they have the best opportunity at this time, but after Castle tonight, they face Martinsville next Friday night. Martinsville, I believe, is still unbeaten on the year. Then, of course, they have Terre Haute South in the North-South matchup out at the stadium on Wednesday night, the 27th. So it's going to be a touch-and-go situation. North definitely will need to win. South with a 4-2 record at this point. They need to come up with a couple of more wins, but it seems like North has the shot at this point. West Vigo is on the road tonight, but traveling not very far. They'll be traveling up just north, and that'll be playing South Vermilion tonight. By the way, Terre Haute North has won the toss and will be receiving to start the ball game this evening. Pikes with a 4-3 record, South Vermilion 4-2. Brazil's down at Owen Valley. North Central is playing at South Putnam this evening. Duggar's taking on the Linton Miners. Linton moved up again in the single A class ratings. So they moved up to 13th after dropping earlier after those 2 consecutive losses. They have a 5-2 record. Attica's at Rockville. Covington's playing at Southmont. Tri-West is at Cloverdale, and the Clovers trying to get a win this season. They're 0-7 on the year. Turkey Run's at North Vermilion. Park Tutors at Sullivan. Terre Haute South, they have the night off. The Braves will be in action tomorrow night down at Evansville at the Pocket City. They'll be taking on Evansville Memorial. South with a 4-2 record, and Memorial with a 5-2 mark. And as we're talking about the playoff situations, if one of the area teams make it, WBOW will certainly be there, bringing you all the play-by-play action. Randy, in the last ball game we covered for Terre Haute North, it was North against Chesterton, and in that ball game, North came up with a 40-yard field goal to go 3 points ahead. Chesterton came back with a 38-yard field goal, and then to tie it, then they kicked another 38-yard in overtime, and North in overtime scored. So the last ball game we saw on this field turned out to be one of the best we've seen in several years.
And watching both kickers before the ball game, they were both kicking the ball very, very far. And the punters also were doing a nice job getting the ball way up in the air. The hang time should be very good. And you can look for special teams in a big ball game like this to make a difference in the one who wins and who loses.
Boy, it sure was that night, I'll tell you. And that was one of the features we had on our Saturday Morning Sports Open line last week. We talked to Frank Bell, who works with the youth soccer program, and Brent Swanson, the sophomore kicker that has done so well for Terre Haute North this year, came up through that soccer program. He is a soccer-style kicker, so he left the soccer program and went into football, certainly bringing a big help to Terre Haute North. We're ready to get the ball game underway. Matt McDowell will be kicking off for the Castle Knights, and Mike Ward will be back deep to receive, along with Mark Mayfield. Of course, we've mentioned every ball game. Mayfield is the man that transferred from Brazil this year and has done an outstanding job for Terre Haute North. Big game for the Patriots. They need it if they want a shot at the playoffs. High driving end-over-end kick. Mayfield takes the ball back at the 5-yard line. Up the middle to the 10, to the 15s, hit at about the 17 or 18-yard line and brought down right there. So the Patriots will take over 1st and 10 at their own 18-yard line. It's been pointed out that Castle just loves to run over you offensively, and apparently defensively they put together a pretty good ball game too, Randy, so we'll have to wait and see what they come up with on the defensive line, the Castle Knights, that is.
Anytime you're 7-0, you have to have both ends. You have to have offense and defense.
Well, they certainly have the offensive and the defensive punch, and the Patriots are ready to challenge. Ball game just underway, North at their own 18-yard line here in the first play in the first quarter. Bobby Bowen keeps it on the ground, and he's going to hand off to Collette. Is Collette starting in at the fullback spot this week? We may see Collette in there, and also Griffin. Griffin has been injured and has not been seeing as much action. So Collette carries for no gain on the play. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a small loss, but we'll still call it second down, and 10 yards to go for Terre Haute North. Mike Ward now comes into the lineup for the Patriots, and we'll see Ward alternating in and out with Collette and Griffith in the backfield. They'll be bringing the plays in from Coach Wayne Staley for Terre Haute North. The head coach for the Castle Knights, by the way, is John Liddy. They're 7-0, backfield in the I formation, slot to the right side. Bobby Bowen to put the ball in the air, looking down the right side, has Campbell out there, and it is incomplete, but that was close to pass interference.
Also very close to roughing the passer, too. The defensive end for Castle pinched down real hard on the quarterback after he let it go. The referee was standing right there. There was no call, but that's about as marginal as you can get without having a yellow hanky on the ground.
That is a call that we've seen more of in the past 2 years. Of course, college and high school trying to give the quarterback more protection on the pro level, too. Incomplete pass brings up third down now and 10 yards to go for the Patriots from their own 18-yard line. First quarter just underway, 10 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the first period. Once again, it's a slot to the right side. Bowen to put the ball in the air. Big rush on, set up the screen play, and Mayfield can't hold on to the ball. Well, boy, I'll tell you, they had the rush on. Of course, North was letting them come through for the screen pass, and Bobby Bowen got it out in the flat to Mayfield. I don't know if he'd have gotten very far anyway. They were right on top of it. Well, we're going to see our first punt of the ball game. North cannot move as they get their hands on it. Dropping back, as we understand, Dave Brosmer is the big man to keep an eye on here for the Castle Knights. North getting ready to punt away. Byron Hyatt will be doing the punting, as he has all year long for the Patriots. There's the snap. They have the return on. So wobbly end-over-end kick. Brosmer lets the ball hit at about the 45-yard line. Bounces inside Knight territory. Brosmer grabs the ball and is knocked down immediately by Terre Haute North. Timmy Stewart was there, made a nice defensive stop.
Excellent play, and it's one of those things that either it works well for you. Everyone was kind of stopping around the football. It took a bounded into the hands of Brosmer. He took off and was nailed immediately as soon as he touched the football.
Sometimes you can get in a little trouble, causes the fumble in that situation. Mike Davis, the starting quarterback for the Knights. They come out in an I formation with the slot out to the left side. They're going to keep it on the ground. Brosmer will be carrying for a gain of about 4 or 5. Got a flag of the play.
It looked like a little bit of motion on the offense, so that's what the call is.
To me, did it look like maybe the fullback was shooting out a little early?
Yeah, and a lot of times the coaches, if you've got a kid that's exceptionally quick on the line of scrimmage, the coaches will come up to the referees before the football game and say, hey, it's going to look like so-and-so is in motion every time. He's not. He's just that quick. And, there's a valid point there, and it just looks like the Castle backfield is very, very quick.
Well, that's what we've heard. They do have a lot of speed. However, that time they got a motion penalty called against him. Marches it back 5 yards. Well, it would have been about a 4 or 5 yard gains. Now 5-yard mark off with the penalty. It's first down and 15 for the Knights with the ball thrown 40-yard line. This is the first time the Castle has had their hands on the ball. 10 minutes and 23 seconds to go. We're in the first quarter of play. Slot to the right side, and then again they're going to keep the ball on the ground. Brosmer, the second man through, carrying for a gain of about 9 to 10 yards in the play to about the 49 of the midfield stripe. Dave Brosmer, starting at the halfback spot, has done a tremendous job for them all year long, and he gains very close to 10 yards on the play. So now it's going to be second down and 5 yards to go. And they mark the ball a little closer to the 49-yard line. So let's make her second down and 6 yards to go for a Knight first down.
He broke a tackle as he went toward the far sideline and scooted down for about 3 extra yards.
They don't have Brosmer's size on here, but it looks like a pretty big kid there in the backfield. They're going to go in motion. That's Chapman in motion to the far side of the field. Again, Brosmer, the ball carrier, straight up the middle, hit at the line of scrimmage, but continues to drive forward to the Patriots' 47-yard line. Brosmer did an excellent job to continue to drive that time, and in on the stop for the Patriots was Scott Van Landingham for Terre Haute North. Well, with that gain on the play, it's going to bring up third down now and a long 2 yards to go for Castle first down.
The field is in excellent condition, too, I might add. A tremendous-looking football field here at North. It's well lighted and an excellent-looking facility.
For this late in the season, you're right, even the middle of the field is in excellent condition. Slot to the right, Brosmer again carrying, met right at the line of scrimmage, and he won't make it. Mike Sherman was one of the men in there leading the defensive charge, 5'11", 170-pound senior, and boy, that fired up the Patriots defense, and well, it should.
Nice play on the line of scrimmage. The defense keying on Brosmer and collapsed in on that off-tackle play. One thing you might notice is that Castle High School putting that man in motion. As soon as the ball is snapped, he's turning around. They're faking reverse, and they could be setting something up as the ball game gets a little later on.
We'll keep an eye on that. The Knights are dropping back to punt. Mayfield deep to receive for Terre Haute North. There's the snap. It's a fake. Here they come. They're running it. That's going to be Brosmer running out inside the 30, the 35, and down to about the 31 or 32-yard line. Well, that's the other Brosmer. That is Chris Brosmer on the punt return. A fake, and they come up with a first down.
Big play.
You know, that's probably a good time to pull maybe a fake. Early in the game, you would think they're most likely they are going to punt the ball away.
And the field position is not that bad. And when you've got good confidence in your defense, you can give the football up on the other team's side of the 50-yard line.
Well, the fake gives Castle new life. They have the ball first and 10 at the Patriots' 32-yard line. 7 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. No score, game of the week. That's going to be Dave Brosmer carrying the ball around the left side. The North defense cuts him down again. Once again, Sherman was in there defensively for Terre Haute North.
A loss of about 3.5 or 4 on the play, and a fine defensive effort by the defensive end and linebacker for North High School.
North defense, considering they were stunned on that fake punt play, came up with a good defensive effort right there. So that's going to be second down now and about 14 yards to go for a first down. They've marked the ball just outside the Terre Haute North 35-yard line. The ball is actually touching the 35. It's going to be a slot right for the Knights, and they fake the draw play. They're dropping back. They put it in the air, down over the middle. Pass is incomplete. Mike Davis, the quarterback, dropped back, had plenty of time to throw, had a receiver there, and the ball was a little high.
He really looks nice throwing the football, too.
Looks smooth back there in the pocket.
Very smooth, and he throws a very catchable ball.
3 North defenders are back there had he caught the ball, but it was certainly given the Castle Knights good field position. However, it is not complete. It's incomplete and brings up third down now and 14. So the Patriot defense will be digging in again. Woodison there on the front line, giving some help. Also defensively for Terre Haute North, Brad Doan. The senior stands 6 foot, weighs 208 pounds. They dig in. Third down and 14 for the Knights. Backfield slot to the right. And it's going to be Davis dropping back, going for the bomb down the left sideline. That's way out of bounds. Incomplete pass, so it's going to bring up another fourth down.
Good pressure put on the quarterback, too, by North High School. They brought all 5 down linemen. Well, actually 3 downs and the ends are standing, and they brought all 5 and worked a little bit of a stunt on the inside with the tackle going out and the end going in, and put good pressure on the Castle quarterback.
Fourth down now and 14 yards to go. The ball at the 35-yard line. Well, they faked the punt earlier. The other Brosmer, Chris Brosmer, faked one. He's back to punt. Mayfield's back right just at the goal line. They don't fake it this time. Oh, bad kick off the side of his foot. But bounces right. It's going to be a break for the Patriots. It bounces at the 20-yard line. Is touched at about the 19 or the 20. North's going to get the ball deep in their own territory at the 19-yard line. Brosmer that time was just trying to pop the ball high up in the air to let his men get down underneath it.
And he shanked it and hit an end-over-end kick that kind of has that backward spin on it. And once it hit the ground, it wasn't going to go anywhere.
So North got a break on it. Even though they're at the 19-yard line, it could have turned out a little worse had the ball taken a bad bounce. It did not. We're in the first quarter of play. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Steve Smith and Randy Ray with a game of the week tonight on WBOW. Terre Haute North against the Castle Knights. Castle undefeated. Pitch out to Mayfield. Cuts back up inside from the right side and has a small gain on the play, maybe a yard or two. Mayfield is the one that I'm sure they've heard about because he has done so much damage to the opponents this year for Terre Haute North. Got to be a couple yards gain on the play. Second down now and 8 yards to go for Wayne Staley's Terre Haute North Patriots. Of course, Coach Staley in his second year. They finished 7-3 last year, North did, and surprised Terre Haute South in the final game of the season. South had a shot for the playoffs last year, but with that loss to North, they didn't have a chance at the time. Collette and Mayfield make up the backfield. Slot to the right side for the Patriots. Bobby Bowen drops back into pockets. Got protection, time to throw. Out in the flat, and the pass is incomplete. Ooh, close to pass interference. Hyatt was the intended receiver.
We've had a couple plays like that where it's been very, very close, and I'm sure that the field judge who's in front of the North High School is catching a little bit of heat right now.
That is the call, that situation. Sometimes they say if both the man and the defender and receiver are up in the air at the same time going for the ball.
If they're both going for the football, there's no problem. But that's where judgment comes in, when you're going for the football and when you're just trying to protect yourself.
That's when you're supposed to get those home call advantages, isn't it? Backfield in the eye for Terre Haute North. It's third down now at 8 yards to go. Fumble. It's Mayfield on the draw play, and let's see who recovers. The Castle Knights recover. So that's going to be a big break, or it could turn out to be one for the Knights in the ball game. It was a draw play to Mayfield. Never really got his hands clamped on the ball.
No, he didn't. He was set back about a yard, or I guess 2 yards deeper than he normally would. They set up the draw real nice. There seemed to be a little bit of a seam, but he just couldn't find the handle on the football.
Well, the Patriots defense now has a challenge facing him. First down and 10 yards to go for the Castle Knights with the ball just outside the Terre Haute North 21-yard line. Slot to the right. Going to keep it on the ground. Oh, going to be pitch out to Brosmer around the right side. Brosmer down to about the 15-yard line. Well, I tell you, Brosmer looked like North of the pursuit had him, it looked like, but he went right between them.
He picked up the first down, a gain of about 11 on the play.
So that moves the ball down to the 10-yard line. As a matter of fact, the ball's resting right at the 10-yard line. It'll be first down, and it's first and goal for the Castle Knights.
Dave Brosmer has carried the ball 4 times now for 21 yards, and that is counting, 2 plays that were losses. So he's picked up some big chunks.
And he will probably have the biggest average tonight of these ball carries. They're going to keep it on the ground, and that is Chapman carrying off left guard, driving down close to the 5-yard line. Looks like going to mark it at the 6 for a gain of about 4 yards. So there was a little bit of a change. They did not go to Brosmer that time. They kept it on the ground, went to the fullback, Neil Chapman. It's going to be second down, a little over 6 yards to go. Second down and goal from the 6-yard line for the Castle Knights. No score in the ball game. First quarter of play, 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Again, South is idle tonight. They're Evansville Memorial tomorrow evening. West Vigo, however, is on the road tonight. Take it on South Vermillions. It's an I formation. Wants to pitch out to Brosmer. Loose ball. And it's still loose. They're still battling for it. And it looks like Davis, the quarterback, on top of the ball. He did not. North comes up with the ball. That ball got loose 2 times, and North was there for the recovery, and I am not sure, but a lot of hand slappings going on to Bob Griffin. So Bobby Griffin may have jumped on a loose ball. Nonetheless, North stops a very important drive by Castle.
I was quite surprised on the last play. North was not in a goal line defense, and probably good for them in that situation.
They got out there with the ball, and that was Brosmer had his hands on the ball, but I guess maybe he was looking at the defenders coming in, or it just sort of went right through his hands.
The corner was coming up real hard, and I'm sure that had something to do with it.
It's first down now and 10 for North with the ball at their own 13-yard lines. They stop at Castle Drive. It's going to be Mayfield, second man through. He had right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. And I looked for a motion call because it looked like Mayfield may have hesitated in the backfield just before the ball was snapped.
Well, that's exactly what happens, Steve. And when you've got kids who are 16, 17 years old, they get excited. They've just had a big play, and they're anxious to get their hands on the football, especially against a team like Castle that'll really hit you. You know, you've got to consider these are real pops going on out there.
It looks like it is a rugged ball game down on the line of scrimmage, and that was evidenced too by the tackle that time. Motion penalty against Terre Haute North, and it is declined. That will be a loss of a down, so it'll be second down now and 10. Good decision, you think? Deep in the territory?
A very good decision due to the fact that your defense has played very well so far.
Second down now and 10 yards to go for North. Again, the ball at their own 12-yard line. 3:50 to go in the first quarter. We have no score in our game of the week from North. Keep it on the ground. Collett's going to be the ball carrier, and he may have picked up about 2 yards on the play. Once again, he was hit right at the line of scrimmage by the Castle Knights.
Nice play by the linebacker, who was Rick Van Hoos for Castle High School. He's a 210-pound senior, and he really put the hit on the North ball carrier on that one.
There was a pickup of maybe a couple of yards on the play. It's going to be third down now and a very long 6 yards to go. More like third down and 7 to go for a North first down. Backfield in the I formation. Collette and Ward now in the backfield. Quick pass over the middle to Hyatt is incomplete, and Castle had an opportunity to intercept it. Well, they had Hyatt out to the left side. They just slanted him right over the middle for the pass, and it was a little too high. So it's going to be another punt for Terre Haute North. They have not been able to move on the offensive side tonight. Fourth down and 7 yards to go for a first down. Hyatt will be back in punt formation. 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the first quarter. Dropping back deep for the Castle Knights will be Dave Brosmer. And I can't catch a number on the other fellow sitting back here. It looks like 86, but I'm not sure. High snap, rushes on. Hyatt gets the kick away. Brosmer takes the ball and hits it immediately at the 46-yard line. Oh, my, what a defensive smack by Johnny Moore of Terre Haute North. Tremendous hit. Brosmer did not call for the fair catch, and Moore hit him. The timing could not have been better.
And I'm sure the North coaches are going to have a word or two with an official, because it was very close to roughing the kicker down there, too. It's a very aggressive Castle High School football team, and they aren't afraid to put the hat on.
They're going 100% on both sides of the line of scrimmage. After that punt, however, Castle has the ball in good field position. First and 10 at the Terre Haute North 47-yard line. High backfield, Brosmer. No, they've got a reverse on the inside. That is Chapman carrying for a big gain, probably a first down to the North 36-yard line.
And that's a nice trap. When you run out of the slot, that's a good play to call on first down, because it's either going to break big for you or you're not going to lose anything. But you've got that off tackle who's trapping to the inside, and your fullback kicking the end out, and there was nothing but running room for the Castle ball carrier.
Well, that play was coming our way, and boy, we could see the hole open up wide. Worked fine. Injured player down on the field. Terre Haute North has an injured player. I tell you what, that gives us a chance for a timeout. 2:39 to go in the first quarter, no score. Back in 60 seconds. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Hey, Guido! Dad, what do you want? Guido, will you look out of here? The whole restaurant, she's full of people. I know, Antonio. Ain't it a wonderful? Guido, how are we going to feed them all? This is a pizza inn, Antonio. How do you think we're going to feed them a pizza? What kind of pizza is big enough for all of these people? Deep dish pan pizza, that's what. Pizza Inn, deep dish pan pizza give you twice of the cheese, a secret crust recipe, and bigger portions. Oh, that's so good. You make me hungry, Guido. Right, like the man says.
So pizza out, it's a pizza inn.
Business forms, letterhead.
Impressions.
Quick and offset printing.
Impressions.
Invitations and announcements.
Impressions.
Catalogs. Business cards.
Impressions.
Complete color reproduction.
Impressions.
The day you want it, the way you want it. Impressions of Terre Haute, 1107 Ohio Street.
2:39 to go in the first quarter of play. Still timeout down on the field. One of the North players injured, and I have yet to pick up a number down there, but the player's moving around, and
it doesn't look good. They've taken a stretcher out there, so I would almost bet you that's the young man that got trapped on that play.
Boy, it very well could be. Well, he's getting up now and walking under his own power, which is certainly good news. Looks like it's Doug Hickett, and it is Doug. So they did have the stretcher out there, but thank heavens they did not have to use it. Doug just got the wind knocked out of him. Well, they start the clock rolling. First down now and 10 yards to go. That was a first down for the Knights on that play. They send Deion Chester wide to the left side. It's going to be an eye backfield. Davis, draw play to Brosmer, running room. Oh, nice defensive play as they trip him up just beyond the line of scrimmage. It looked like Brosmer was going to have a lot of running room, but one of the Patriots got in there and tripped him up. Timmy Stewart they're going to give the credit to. Well, I tell you, Timmy saved a long gainer that time.
Yes, he did. It was a nice play, and this Brosner seems like the type of runner, once you hit, you better wrap him up because he's broken a couple tackles, and you better have those arms clamped when you hit Dave Brosmer.
He was brought down that time with a shoestring tackle. He's going to drop back. Davis dropping back. Plenty of time to throw. Over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. He had a couple of receivers out there. Chester was out there, and also Joe Huff was there in the middle of the pack, but neither one of them could get to the ball. So that's going to bring up now a third down and 8 yards to go for a Castle Knight first down. No score in the ball game. Castle undefeated coming into the contest, 7-0. They're ranked third in the state, and the Patriots with a 5-2 record.
Mike Davis was leveled on that play, too. He had plenty of time, but all of a sudden his protection broke down, and just as he tossed the football, he was hit by one of the North Patriots.
Both of these defensives have been putting on pretty good charges here tonight.
Well, I'm sure if North Vigo can come out of this first half, although there's a whole other quarter to play in the first half, but I'm sure if they can come out of the first half tied, ahead, or just a touchdown down, they'll feel very good about this first half.
I would certainly think so, and if they can stay with, I don't know what kind of kicker Castle has, but North certainly has an outstanding kicking game. Well, they fake a reverse to the backfield. Davis rolling deep to the right side, gets the pass away, and it is complete. It's complete to Neil Chapman down inside the 15-yard line. Well, I'll tell you why. I give Mike Davis credit that time. He was rolling deep to his right side. Pressure was on. Got the pass down to Chapman. Chapman bobbled the ball even while it was being hit and still came down with the reception.
We have to compliment the North Vigo Patriot defensive end on our side. I don't see his number yet, but he did an excellent job of stringing that play out. And that's number 45 for North Vigo, and that would be Bob Griffin. He did a nice job of stringing it out to the sideline because I'm sure Davis would have liked to turn it up if he had a chance.
It's first down now and 10 at the North 14-yard line for the Knights. Who do they go to? Brosmer, running room, inside the 10, cuts inside the 5, and driven out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. Well, they're definitely going to be going to Brosmer all night long, and there was nobody out there on that left side defensively for North.
Once he turned the corner, he showed his speed. He turned it right to the flag and picked up about 13 on the play.
So it's going to be first down now and goal for the Knights at about the Terre Haute North 2-yard line. Clock stopped, 56 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. Again, no score, but Castle threatening. Their backfield's going to be in the I formation. Davis to Brosmer, going off the right side in for the touchdown. Dave Brosmer scoring on a 2-yard run to put the Castle Knights on the scoreboard for the first quarter ball game tonight. 55 seconds to go in the first period of play.
That's just what you'd expect from Castle, too. They've been running inside with good success. They're doing a good job of moving North Vigo off the line of scrimmage a couple yards at a shot. When you only need 3, give it to the horses and let them take it inside.
And Brosmer earned the opportunity to pick up the touchdown. To attempt the point after for the Castle Knights will be Matt McDowell. He also kicks off. There's the snap. The ball's down. Kick is up high. Kick, and it is good. So here at the first quarter with 55 seconds to go, Castle has a 7-0 lead. This has been a very interesting first quarter. We've seen some fumbles. We've seen some very hard defensive rushes. And now we've seen a Castle Knight offense that has produced 7 points. And I know, Randy, you're not familiar with the visiting crowds tonight. Castle's down around the Evansville area. They brought a ton of fans with them this evening.
A nice crowd. A nice crowd. I know the North Vigo coaches now feel that this next drive has to be a big drive for them. Castle has just proved to themselves that they can score against North Vigo High School, and now the ball is in the hands of North Vigo, and they've got to move the football. If they don't score, they have to at least move the football into Castle territory. So if they punt the ball, Castle has the ball deep, and they're not sitting with good field position again, because once you score that first touchdown, the mental block against scoring is gone, and you know you can score from there on out.
Feel like you can do it again. McDowell ready to kick off. Ward and Mayfield deep to receive. Ward's the man that can break it wide open for Terre Haute North. Mayfield is rather. Ward lets the ball hit in the end zone, and they'll be bringing that one back out to the 20-yard line. Boy, McDowell really got a driving kick. As I look at the flag, though, down at the left side, there's a pretty strong wind, but really it's more of a crosswind, I think, or maybe it is behind him. My poor eyes at my age, I can't see which way the wind's blowing.
It was a very high kick, too, and the Castle coverage was in very good shape, so it probably was a good idea that they let the ball go into the end zone.
First down now, and 10 yards to go for North. At their own 20-yard line. Of course, no time expired since the kickoff, since the touchdown. 55 seconds to go in the first quarter. Castle with a 7-0 lead. Any updates on the World Series tonight? Jay will be breaking in and passing those scores along to us. High backfield, Bowen putting the ball in the air. Going down the Ward, wide open and couldn't hold on to the ball. Mike Ward was wide open at the 40-yard line, had the ball in his hands, Randy, and couldn't hold on.
It was a big gain for North High School and could have been something that broke the ball game as far as North Vigo is concerned wide open.
Ward has speed, too, and he was back there. It was hard to tell him how that would have ended up, but it's all taken away now as he couldn't hold on to the ball.
Well, I'm sure Coach Stanley thinks he can throw on Castle High School. He's sure shown that in the first half.
Second down now and 10 yards to go for North. It's an high backfield, slot to the right side. They're going to keep it on the ground. Collette, the ball carrier, no gain on the play. Knights bring him down right at the line of scrimmage. Russell in on the stop for the Knights. We're down to 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. Again, 7-0 ball game. Castle has just scored with 55 seconds to go in the first period. Other area games tonight, West Vigo's up at South Vermilion. Terre Haute South has the night off. They'll be down at Evansville Memorial tomorrow night. Big college weekend. Indiana State will be hosting Eastern Illinois tomorrow on homecoming, 1:30 at Memorial Stadium. And Rose Holman hosts a 5-0 Wabash Club. That gets underway at 1:30 out at Phil Brown Field. Football here tonight. Terre Haute North looking to get some offensive punch rolling. Pass out to Campbell is complete. And then he dropped the ball. Campbell had the ball in his arms at the 25-yard line and was rolling over at the same time and lost the handle.
It was a tough catch, but it certainly was a catchable football. With 8 seconds left on the clock, North Vigo Patriots are going to have to punt the football, and I'm sure when the defense goes over for Castle High School, their secondary is going to get together and say, hey, fellas, what's going on back here?
They were almost burnt that time, or the play before, he should have said, to Ward.
Well, three men have been open in 3 successive pass plays.
North is ready to punt now. Only 8 seconds to go in the first quarter. High snap again. Rushes on. Hyde gets the kick away. Castle's going to end up good field position. The ball hits at the North 40. Takes a North bounce inside Castle territory. Still rolling to the 45 and down to the 44-yard line. And that's the end of the first quarter. Castle has a 7-0 lead. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Terre Haute First National says people come first at first.
My convenience comes first at first. At home, running errands, or at work, a Terre Haute First National Bank is nearby, with hours as convenient as their locations. And First Plus 24-hour tellers let me bank anytime, any day. That's convenience.
At Terre Haute First National, people come first at first.
Member FDIC.
Is your car ready for winter yet? Well, if not, here's a suggestion. Don Marshall's Marathon at 1835 Holman. They're a neighborhood service station. Think of how many years they've been there, offering quality Marathon products, engine tune-ups, brake work, all the things a neighborhood service station should be doing. Don Marshall Marathon has set a reputation in the city over the years, a reputation they live up to every day. After all, good, trustworthy service is the best feature Don Marshall Marathon has to offer. Come see us today. Don Marshall Marathon at the corner of Holman and 19th Streets.
WBOW, Terre Haute.
Second quarter just underway. First play at first down now, and it was 10 yards. A loss of not quite a yard, but it will call a yard loss. First down now, 11 yards to go for the Castle Knights. They have a 7-0 lead. Second quarter just underway. Steve Smith and Randy Ray from North High School with our Game of the Week tonight on WBOW. Well, the North defense needs to dig in and not let Castle get an offensive drive going here. Force them in a punt situation. The backfield is split. Slot to the left side. And they have a man in motion to this side of the field. That's going to be Chapman. It's going to be a pitch out to Brosmer. Hits away from a couple of tacklers. Drives to the 50-yard line. Inside North territory at about the 49.
He's bigger than he looked in the first quarter. He got closer to this side, and he looks like he may run in the neighborhood of 180, 185. For for a tailback in the eye, that's pretty big for a high school kid.
It sure is. You know, that time they went to the short side of the field, and it really, even when I was playing, the sweep of the short side of the field always bugged me. But, of course, it works. You have less defensive players on that side. It certainly worked that time for the Knights. They pick up about 7 or 8 yards of the play. They had a loss of a yard early. It's third down now, and about 3.5, 4 yards to go. Who else but Brosmer gets the ball, but the North defense stacks him up right at the line of scrimmage. North with a big stop that time. Sherman was in there, and also big number 66, Brad Doan, was in there for the middle of the line in on the stop. Actually a loss of a yard, but still it's a little less than a yard. It's going to be fourth down now and 4 yards to go. Don't forget earlier, Castle was not at all afraid to fake the punt. I don't think they would do it in this situation with a 7-0 lead. Back to punt is Chris Brosmer. Mayfield is a lone man back deep to receive for the Patriots. There's the snap. Oh, really big rush on. Brosmer gets the kick away. Mayfield calls for a fair catch at his own 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Patriots just outside the 20-yard line. And as Randy was talking there in the closing moments of the first quarter, Bush is going to have to go to the air a little bit more, and they have been there, but just the receivers have not been holding on to the ball.
The protection has been good, and receivers have been open. And quarterback for North High School has been doing an awful nice job getting the football around the receiver. And really, that's all you can expect a quarterback to do, is to get it catchable.
It's up to the receivers from that point. Backfield in the I formation. Collett and Mayfield making up the North backfield. Bobby Bowen coming back, fakes the handoff out in the flat, pass complete to Campbell at the 28-yard line. Don Campbell on the receiving end of that. We talk about the passes. They got Campbell out in the right flat, and he came up with a pass that time and held on to it.
Nice catch, because he was really plowed by Chris Brosmer.
It's going to be shy of a first down by just about 1.5 yards. We'll call it second down now with 9 yards to go. And the ball's resting just inside the 30-yard line of the Patriots. Second quarter, 9.5 minutes to go in the first half of play. It's a 7-0 lead for the Castle Knights. Smith is going wide to the left side. We find Ward wide to the right. Backfield's in the eye. Again, Collette, Mayfield make up the backfield for the Patriots. Bobby Bowen fakes a handoff, lobs it in the air. Out to Smith, turns around and can't find the ball. Smith inside Castle territory at the 47-yard line. When he turned around, I thought he had enough time to get his eye on the ball.
Evidently he didn't. The ball was real high and almost up for grabs for the offense and defense. I thought there was a reception and a big gain, but the ball came down. He couldn't hang on to it, and they've got a third down and about 1.
That is the design play that they've used earlier this year, except Smith, they throw the ball out there and let Smith run under it. Backfield's in the I formation once again. 9:13 to go in the first half of play. Slot to the right side for the Patriots. They have a third down and 1 yard to go. They're on the ground to Mayfield. Gets the first down. Out to the 30, 35, the 40, out to the 45-yard line. And brought down. Mark Mayfield picks up a big first down for the Terre Haute North offense as he's tackled just across the North 45-yard line.
The Castle Knights lined up in a wide tackle 6, expecting something off tackle and quick. And once Mayfield was past the first line of defenders, the first 6 ball players, he had running room and picked up in the neighborhood about 15 yards on that play.
And once Mayfield gets that step beyond the line of scrimmage, he is exceptionally strong. First and 10 for the Patriots at their own 45. John Collette, the ball carrier. A gain of about 2 or 3 yards on the play. In on the stop that time was Russell for the Castle Knights. Going to give him a gain of 3 on the play. It'll be second down now and 7 yards to go for Terre Haute North, and they most desperately need to get the offense moving. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half of play. They tell us in the bottom of the second, the World Series, no score yet. That's a report we get here from the PA system. 7-0, the Castle Knights are on top. Once again, it is a slot to the right side. Backfield's in the eye. Campbell's going in motion to the far side of the field. We have a flag. And neither movement on the line or delay of the game. The officials huddling there at about the 47-yard line.
Dead ball foul and motion is the call.
That is it, exactly, and it's going to be against, of course, Terre Haute North. It seemed like they were taking a little bit of time getting up to the line.
I think a tiny bit of confusion, too, for Terre Haute North as they sent a ball player in, and a lot of times that will happen when you send a player in with the play and you get up and somebody lines up on the wrong side or something. You panic for a moment, and I think that's what happened.
It's really kind of nice, you know, in the pros. You notice when you're watching the games on TV, they have those clocks that are counting down the seconds in the end zones, or at least somewhere in that vicinity. That's very nice. 8 minutes exactly to go in the first half of play. Steve Smith and Randy Ray from North High School with our game of the week tonight. Castle's leading Terre Haute North 7-0. Hyatt's going wide to the left side, and they're looking for Hyatt over the middle. Pass complete at the 50. Inside Castle territory, brought down at the 45-yard line. Same play they tried earlier.
Very close to a first down, Steve, too, as I imagine they're going to have to bring the sticks in on this one.
The ball is just inside the Castle 45-yard line, and we're almost lined up even. And we do have an official's timeout. That's going to give us a chance to take a commercial break. We'll be back in, we better keep it right here. They have the chains out on the field already, and it's not going to take that long. We'll keep it right here. Oh, it's awful close to a first down, but the reaction indicates to us it's shy. It is just by inches.
Nice second effort by the North receiver on that play. He caught the ball, was hit, spun for about an extra 1.5 yards or 2 yards, and in this drive, which is very important to North High School, that 2 yards could be a big one before this drive's over with.
Well, it's third down now, and just inches to go for Terre Haute North, with the ball resting just inside the Castle 45-yard line. The North fans coming alive, backfield in the I formation. Bobby Bowen calling the signals, hands off to Collette. No, keeps it, option, out to Mayfield. He's got the first down and drives down to about the 41-yard line. Boy, Bobby Bowen did a nice job that time. I thought he handed off to Collette first, but he kept the ball in the option, got it out to Mayfield, and gets North into a first down situation at the 41-yard line.
You read that quite nicely, because Collette would not have made the first down.
So it's a 1st and 10. North needing to get a drive going here in the first half. 7:29 to go in quarter number 2. 7-0 ball game. The Castle Knights are on top. It's an I backfield again. Ward split wide to the right side. The offensive line set for the Patriots. Bowen drops, hands off to Mayfield, gets away from a tackle, still on his feet, inside the 35, down to the 30, the 25, inside the 20, down to the 15, and down to the 10 or 11-yard line. Oh my, Mayfield can break a game open. He has done it so many times, and that time he did it again. North now has the ball. 1st and 10 at the Castle 11-yard line. And this is exactly what we're talking about that North needed.
That's a 30-yard pickup by Mayfield. He broke a tackle on the line of scrimmage. Probably would have gone down the sidelines had he not bobbled the football for a second. And he grabbed back hold of it and picked up another 10 yards with a 30-yard pickup, and Mayfield's got 52 yards on the night.
The North backfield is split. 1st and 10 at the 11, and they keep it on the ground going straight up the middle to Collette. He drives inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark it down at about the 9. That is something Mayfield did do that I didn't mention because he was running down the field, but all of a sudden there was just nobody around him. The ball just bobbled loose. He got a bad grip on it.
He picked it back up and went down about 10 more yards. He might have scored had he not had that momentary hesitation.
They give him a yard pickup on the play. Collette on the carry. 2nd down and 9. The ball just barely outside or maybe just inside the 10-yard line of Castle. High backfield, slot to the right side. Mayfield up the middle, inside the 5, driving for the goal line. He won't make it in, but he gets it down to about the 2-yard line.
And that's a fine piece of running inside the 10. Excellent play by Mayfield. Went inside, spun, was hit. And that's what you have to have in the goal line. He wanted to get into the end zone and just came up a yard short.
It's going to be its 3rd down now at about 2 yards to go for a touchdown. It looks like North could possibly, and they can still get the nose of the ball just inside or just outside the goal line and pick up a first down. 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second quarter. North's down 7-0. They're threatening. 3rd down and 2 to go from the 2-yard line. And Bowen bobbles the ball and has to go down with it. He'll pick up a little bit on the play, but Bobby Bowen maybe a little anxious. Bad snap. We don't know why we're wrong, but he bobbled the ball. And a timeout is now being called to Terre Haute North. That'll give us a chance for a commercial break. 5.5 minutes to go in the first half of play. North's trailing 7-0. Back in 60 seconds. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Excuse me, average-type person on the street.
Yes, what can I do for you?
What comes to mind when I say Roman Brothers Marathon?
Marathon gasoline.
Yes, what else?
Convenient north side location.
That's right, at the corner of Lafayette and Fort Harrison Road.
Roman Brothers also does great repair service, tires, batteries, and has self-service pumps.
Boy, You sure know about Roman Brothers Marathon. Are you sure you're average?
Well, you asked.
But not everybody knows about all the great things Roman Brothers Marathon does. Oh, you dropped your Russian-English dictionary.
Oh, thank you, comrade. I must be going.
Hey, you're not a... Police, stop that man.
When it comes to a champion performance, MAB has been a proven winner since 1899. MAB keeps that fresh painted look long after so-called bargain paints have faded. Remember, there is a big difference among paints. MAB is the best investment you can make.
Cause your best home investment is always MAB.
Here's the situation. 5:31 to go in the first half of play. North is trailing 7-0. It is 4th down and 2 yards to go at the Castle 2-yard line. Randy brought up a good point. You've got to go for the touchdown at this point.
Well, that's only my opinion. And, of course, that's why I'm here not coaching in high school football. But you do have to go. You might not get this shot again with a football team as good as Castle.
That is exactly the point. The backfield is split. Bobby Bowen. It is 4th down, 2 yards to go. Do or die. And it's going to be Collette. Touchdown. John Collette, the fullback, going off the left side of the line, dives in for the touchdown. Big play for the Terre Haute North Patriots. They had no other choice. They had to go for it. They did, and they made it.
Now the question is, do you play it safe and kick it when you've got a good kicker, or do you try to go on top? They're going to kick it.
They are, because Swanson's already out on the field, so they're going to go for, hopefully, the sure tie. Swanson is certainly a deadly kicker. Again, we point out he's the sophomore that has done just an outstanding job this year.
Well, this has to be a big mental plus for North Vigo High School. They scored on Castle High School. Hopefully they'll be tied up with 5:27 left in the first half, and they have to go in feeling pretty good.
McCarty's holding. The ball's down. The kick is up and good. We have a flag on the play. The kick is good, but the official was waving his arms for an official timeout. Even if it's against North and moves them back, it shouldn't hurt them any. They threw it in the North offensive backfield, so you'd assume it would be against North, and it is a procedure penalty.
Well, 5 yards isn't going to hurt anything on a point after touchdown, as strong as the Patriot kicker is.
No, it certainly wouldn't, as he's been kicking consistently from 30-yard line. And, they're going to mark the penalty off against Terre Haute North, of course, and that's going to bring the ball out to about the 7.5-yard line, I guess it'll finally put it.
The bad part about it, though, the kick was good, and you hate to take points off the scoreboard.
Well, you sure do. Because this second one, something might not go as well. McCarty will be holding. Swanson now will be kicking from his own 15-yard line. It'll be a 25-yard kick. 5:27 to go in the first half of play. North's trying to tie the ball game up. They're trailing 7-6. The line sets. McCarty's ready for a snap. High snap. And he pulls it down. It's blocked. Well, that penalty did make a difference. In there on the rush was Craig Day for the Castle Knights, and he blocked the ball. High snap. Delayed them there for a little bit.
It would have been close if not the snap had been high either, because he was coming from the outside and showed awful good speed coming in. 7-6 with 5:27 left in the first half, and you always hate to take points off the board.
Well, that time on the point after attempt, the first kick was good. Procedure penalty brought it back 5 yards. They kick it again, and Craig Day, rushing from the left side of the defensive line, got in there and blocked the point after a high snap. So now it's a 1-point ball game. Castle on top, 7-6, 5:27 to go in the first half.
That means if Castle scores again, makes it 14-6. Should North High School score again, they're going to have to go for 2.
2-point conversion. They sure would. The way this ball game is going, well, only 2 touchdowns scored here in the first half of play. So you can tell from that it certainly is not a high-scoring ball game. And Castle has been high-scoring in several ball games here this year. They defeated South, not allowing South to score. A couple of their other ball games, they got them up to 30 points, 40-point ball games. They scored a lot of points. So really, if you want to look at the good side, North has held Castle down in the scoring here in the first half. It's only a 1-point ball game. Castle up 7-6, 5:27 to go. Swanson with a driving kick. It's going to be taken by Berkeley at the 10, out to the 15, cuts on the far side of the field. North defense catches up with him, cuts his legs out from under him at the 20-yard line. So now Castle will have their hands on the ball again. North's defense will lead a good effort, stop Castle from another offensive drive here to at least I think North probably should have a little more of the momentum because their offense came up with a very big series to get on the scoreboard.
Castle High School just showed how important the kicking game is to them. Their best people were in the football game on that kickoff return. They only brought in 3 ball players from the sideline, so that tells you what they think of their special teams.
Backfield in the I formation. Brosmer gets the ball to pitch out. The Patriots shut him off this time. There's going to be a loss on the play. Great defensive effort. Christian was in there also defensively. Wow, a lot of people in there. I didn't catch all the numbers. It looked like it.
Tim Stewart had filtered out there.
Timmy Stewart was another one. That's right. So it's going to be a loss of a yard on the play. Rosemore on the sweep. Couldn't get outside that time. Second down, 11 yards to go for the Knights with the ball at their own 19-yard line. Again, we remind you, it's a 7-6 ball game. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Steve Smith and Randy Ray with our game of the week for North High School tonight. Backfield in the I formation. They fake it. Going to be a reverse, and that's going to be the handoff to Chapman going around the right side, and he is tripped up just as he gets across the line of scrimmage. Excellent defensive effort by the Patriots, and it looked like in there on the defensive tackles was Johnny Moore, and it sure was. Johnny Moore was not fooled at all by that play.
A nice play because he was being blocked at the time, too, and once Chapman gets by Moore, it's nothing but green in front of him.
Johnny Moore just did a good job. He was being blocked, as you indicated, and he was holding his ground that time.
Castle is a fun football team to watch. My personal preference is the power I, and that's what they run out of, and they're doing a nice job with it so far.
Third down now, and about 8 yards to go for Castle first down at their own 21, and they're looking to throw over the middle. The pass is complete. Coming out of the backfield was Joe Huff, and they hit him with a pass at the 35-yard line. He's brought down at the 37. That's going to be a first down for the Castle Knights, and Huff was wide open right over the middle, and Davis saw him and hit him with a pass.
There was a lot of time for Davis to throw the football, too. He faked inside, came up, looked for the tight end earlier, and he didn't break open until he cleared the linebackers, and a good job by Davis, the quarterback for Castle, to hang on to the football as long as he did till his tight end did clear the linebackers.
And he flipped it over the middle. The pass was complete. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half of play. They fake the handoff. Davis is hit once in the backfield, gets back on his feet, and throws it out of bounds to the far side. Well, North was in there on top of him, and Fissick, I believe, was in there charging.
And Mike Davis is a very poised quarterback for Castle High School. Now he's a senior for Castle, and that was just a very heads-up play. He felt pressure. He almost went down. He went straight for the sidelines with the football. It brings up a second down and 10, but that's better than eating 7 yards.
Sure was. He, just like, say, put the ball out the sideline just to get it out of bounds and save any loss. High backfield again. We find Chesterton wide to the right side. It's going to be a draw play. They run up the middle to Brosmer, inside the North 50 to the 45, the 40, the 35, down to the 30-yard line, and they finally bring him down at the North 25. Big game by Brosmer, the draw play. 3 minutes and 1 second to go in the first half. A 7-6 ball game, and this is not what North needed in this ball game tonight, was to allow Castle to get some good field position.
39-yard pickup down the sideline.
Brosmer has just put on an offensive show here tonight. It's 1st and 10 inside the Terre Haute North 25-yard line.
I'm sure that Ryan Funkhauser's got a little better indication of what kind of speed Bozeman has, too.
He certainly does. It is wide to the left side with Chester again. High backfield. Brosmer has an opening around the right side. Inside the 20, still on his feet, cutting inside the 15, down to about the 10-yard line. Flag on the
umpire threw a flag, and 9 times out of 10, there's a hold.
Let's see what it's going to be. Brosmer did a good job just picking his lane, cutting around defenders that time, getting the ball down to the North 10-yard line. Well, Randy had the right call, but unfortunately it's going to go against Terre Haute North. Holding call against the Patriots. That doesn't help the situation because the Knights have it as it is right now, 1st and 10 just outside the North 10-yard line. Castle has a 1-point lead, 7-6. We have 2 minutes and 37 seconds to go here at North High with our game of the week tonight.
Boy, that's a tough call, too. That's a real tough call. I'm sure Castle will take the play. At half the distance.
Now they put the ball just outside the 5, or more like at the 5-yard line. Mark it outside just barely. Nonetheless, it puts the Knights in good situation. First and goal just outside the Terre Haute North 5-yard line. 2:37 to go in the first half of play. The Knights have a 1-point lead, 7-6.
How in the world do you get a defensive holding on the inside?
They come up with some weird ones at times. Once again, here they come, taking a handoff. Davis rolling to the right side, wide open in the end zone, out of the backfield. That's a 33 on the roster. We don't have a number for a 33. We'll try and pick up a number for you, but the pass was complete. Nonetheless, it's a Castle touchdown. That was just Davis that time. Made a couple of fakes, even a reverse in the inside. Then he rolled out to the right side, and his receiver cutting out of the backfield was just wide open.
That's a good goal line play. You have misdirection going. You've got linebackers who are trying to read, and once they commit, they've committed on the goal line. There's no turning back and getting reset.
McDowell ready to attempt the point after. He's a straight-on kicker. The ball's down. The kick is up, and it splits the uprights. Kick's good. It's 14-6 ball game. Now we're in that situation you were talking about. North comes back and scores now. They've got to be thinking about a 2-point conversion.
They'd like to go into halftime tied at 14-all. 2 minutes and 23 seconds left. You can count on North to put the football up in the air. They're going to be throwing. They've had men open all night. If they can just connect once or twice. And also, something to think about, too, is Castle's going to be pulling out all the stops on the defensive line. They're really going to be bringing people, maybe something, a screen over the middle, maybe a draw might pick up big yardage.
Here's a situation where Terre Haute North and Mark Mayfield have been a big breakaway effort, especially on kickoffs this year down at the Bossy. I believe it was the Bossy ball game that they got a big, maybe even a touchdown return by Mayfield. We've seen him once this year on a touchdown return, on a kickoff return somewhere for a touchdown. 2:23 to go, 14-6. Castle's on top. They have a 7-0 record, ranked third in the state coming into the ball game. North with a 5-2 mark, trying to stay alive for some playoff hopes this year. McDowell ready to kick off. Mayfield and Ward back deep to receive. There's another driving kick. Mayfield takes the ball to his own 4, to the 5, the 10, straight up the middle, the 15, the 20. Tries to cut outside and is tripped up just as he gets out to the 20-yard line, and he's brought down at the 22. Well, it will be interesting to see if North puts the ball in the air to trying to get down there in a hurry, or you're never happy going into the locker room behind by 14-6 score at halftime.
Well, one thing's very imperative for North to do. They need to pick up a first down, because if they do put the ball up in the air 3 times, there's going to be time left on the clock when they punt, and Castle will probably have pretty good field position if North doesn't pick up a first down.
It's an high backfield. Quick pass over the middle to Hyatt. It's complete, and Hyatt's brought down at the 30-yard line. So it's going to be a gain of about 7 or 8 yards on the play. That's the third time they tried that play tonight, with Hyatt cutting in from the left side straight over the middle. 2 of them complete. It's going to bring up second down and a yard to go for a North first down. So they're in good position to pick it up, but only 1:45 remains in the first half, and it's a 14-6 ball game with Castle on top. High backfield again. Slide out to the right side, and they're going to keep it on the ground. Bobby Bowen keeps the ball carrying out to the 35-yard line, and he'll have it up for a first down.
Bowen picked up 4 yards on that play.
Bobby Bowen with the first down for the North Patriots. They're just working against the clock right now, trying to pick up some big gainers, and maybe they will go to the air here in the late seconds.
Castle's playing man in the backfield, so if Coach feels that Ward's got a little better speed than anybody on Castle, now is the time to do it, because they're bringing 2 men out wide. They're playing a man defense because the strong safety has to play the tight end.
And 1:14 to go. It's Campbell and Ward wide to the right side. Bowen dropping back, looks down the left side of the middle. Pass complete. It is incomplete. Well, Myron Hyatt had it in his hands, but he was hit from behind pretty hard, and that knocked the ball loose. So incomplete pass will bring up second down and 10. However, that does stop the clock with 1:09 seconds to go down the second quarter. Again, at halftime, we'd like to remind you that we will have the Joe Theismann quarterback sneak, 5-minute halftime show, which will preview Notre Dame's ball game tomorrow, and we'll have that at halftime. It'll give us a chance to regroup, and we'll be back, and we'll be talking to Randy Ray about sports, and in particular, of course, here on WBOW. Split backfield for the Patriots. Second down, 10 yards to go. Bobby Bowen drops straight back in the pocket. Looks like his hand may have been hit just as he let loose the ball, but the pass was intended for Mayfield, and it was too high, out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock and bring up 3rd and 10. Minute and 3 seconds to go. First half of play here at North High School tonight. Castle undefeated. Terre Haute North with a 5-2 record. This Castle Ball Club blanked South earlier in the year.
I'm sure that Castle High School will go into some kind of umbrella coverage this time. You know, they'll give up the 10-15 yarder. They just don't want to give up a big play, possibly put North into field goal position.
Again, Campbell and Ward wide to the right side. Christian split out to the left side. Hirard, rather, split out to the left side. Bobby Bowen's going to have to keep the ball. He's brought down right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the clock's running with 55 seconds left in the first half, and North's going to have to punt the ball away. Now, Castle, I'm sure, called timeout.
And they have. That's exactly what they've done. Timeout with 4th down and 10. North will be punting. And the 2 other times that North has punted tonight, Castle has gotten the ball in very decent field position. So it's going to be another punt situation for Terre Haute North. And I'll tell you, the Knights blocked that point after earlier, and they've been getting a good rush in there on the punt also. The snap has been a little high for Myron Christian on his 2 earlier punts. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if they can keep the snap down and get the punt away.
Possibly with this kind of field position too, Steve, deep in your own territory, you know that the team kicking thinks you're going to try to block the punt. It'd be a good time to set up the picket fence, to set up a return, move the ball down. You've got a lot of confidence in your quarterback, Mike Davis, the way he throws the football. You've got a minute left on the clock, and in a throwing football game, that's plenty of time to move the football.
It sure is. And of course, the breakaway run can also happen with Brosmer in there, and Brosmer is the one that's back deep to receive. Iron High will be going back to punt.
Just one man deep, and it looks like they're setting up a return.
Brosmer's back deep. 52 seconds to go. Castle's on top, 14-6. Oh my! High gets the kick away. It's a bad kick. Faircats called for it, but we have a flag back there also by the kicker too. So one would assume the roughing the kicker will be the call, which will be a big break for North.
That's what it is.
It is. So North gets a break. That brings the North fans alive here in front of us. They finally have something more to cheer about besides that one touchdown was scored here in the first half. So at least that's going to stop Castle from getting the ball in good field position. I watched the ball going downfield because it was a bad kick by Hyatt, a little high snap. He had to hurry and get it off, and they did have a couple of guys back there rushing pretty hard.
I haven't picked a thing right yet tonight. I thought the way the linebackers were looking off the line of scrimmage that they were going to set up a return, but they shot gaps. So that's the way my luck's been running tonight. North Vigo does have a first down. 14-6 is a score with 46 seconds left in the first half.
It's right at the 50-yard line on the inside. Just touch it inside the 50 for Terre Haute North. First down and 10. Backfield split. Rather high backfield with Collin and Mayfield in the backfield. Bobby Bowen, big rush on. They get it down the flat. They were trying to set up the screen play. And just coming around from the outside was Joe Huff from the left side. And he had a big rush on. Too big to set up a screen. Incomplete pass will bring up second down, 10 yards to go.
Nice pressure put on by Castle High School. It forced a throw, I'm sure, a little sooner than Bowen wanted to throw the football.
41 seconds to go in the first half. Well, it's a 14-6 ball game. Castle ranked third in the state, undefeated coming into this ball game. WBOW proud to be a part of it. It'll be Notre Dame football tomorrow afternoon. If we ever get that NFL strike resolved, we'll have Cincinnati Bengals once again. High backfield again. Campbell and Ward wide to the right side. Bowen's going down the right side. Pass is complete to Campbell inside the 35-yard line. Finally brought down at the Castle 31-yard line. 34 seconds to go. North comes up with a big pass play. First and 10 at the Castle 31-yard line.
And with the wind at the back of the North kicker, we could see a very long field goal attempt.
Very good point. You bet we sure could. Well, North has called for a timeout. Coach Staley will make his way out onto the field, which is a rule that we've pointed out to several times is legal now in sports. The coach can go out to the huddle, and we understand the ball must be in the hash marks, as we were talking during a commercial break. And even even down Mizzou way, says some of the coaches, they have enough core, they can take the headsets right out on the field, which would be an advantage talking to the coach upstairs.
Certainly is an advantage, and a lot of coaches are going to that with the new rule this year, buying a little extra cord for their phones upstairs and taking the phones and everything out and having the defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator up top of the press box who sees everything actually talk to the kids what's going on out there and how they're going to score.
34 seconds to go in the first half. 14-6. I don't know what the temperature is, but it certainly is getting rather chilly up here in the press box.
It's nice.
It is getting nice. You tell Randy's an old football guy from all the way back. It is a good night, especially, you couldn't ask for more. Comfortable for the players down on the field in a situation like this. Very, very comfortable.
It's chilly in Kansas, October 15th. A little snow might even be flying.
Oh, boy, let's don't talk about that yet. They're talking about the coldest winter ever in this part of the area.
That's refreshing.
We'll survive somehow, won't we? Yes. 34 seconds to go. Patriots have the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line, trying to get some more points on the scoreboard. They are down 14-6 to the Castle Knights. Now, the timeout down on the field, and the referees with one of the Castle players on the far side, and I believe it is an equipment problem, was the other delay. Now we have a Castle timeout, so we're going to have another timeout.
What has happened is the official on the far sideline trying to fix the equipment problem, and if you can't fix it on the field, you have to tell the player to leave the field. And obviously, Castle thinks that their ball player, Craig Day, who's a defensive end, is valuable enough that they wasted a timeout to get his equipment fixed.
Of course, the coaches are hoping for all the time in the world they can get over there without using that timeout. Pointed out there at the pregame show, this season has gone really fast. This is the, including tonight's, now we only have about 2.5 games left in the season. Next Friday night, we'll be on the air from South High as the South Braves entertain Evansville Central. And then the following Wednesday, and be sure to mark that down in your calendar, the North-South ball game will be played Wednesday, October the 27th, out at Memorial Stadium. And looking for a good crowd out there. We'll be on the air at 7:20 of the pregame show. And we hope to see you out there. If you can't make it, we hope that you'll join us for the broadcast. Slot to the right side for North. 1st down and 10. Quick pass out to the right side. And I don't know if Campbell was supposed to be looking for the ball, but he wasn't. His back was turned to the passer, Bobby Bowen. Stops the clock. 31 seconds to go down the first half. 14-6 ball game. Castle's on top. North trying to get another one in the end zone. 2nd down and 10 yards to go with the ball at the 31-yard line of Castle.
That was the only good thing about that play is it did stop the clock, and I think the ball kind of slipped out of Bowen's hand as he threw it.
Bobby Bowen gets the play as Greg Allen, the 5'9", 150-pound junior, comes into the lineup. We'll see Allen split out to the right side this time with Campbell, and Christian is split a little out to the left side. The backfield's in the eye. Collette and Mayfield make up the north backfield. They drop back to block, and they go down in the middle. Intercepted! And it looks like Brose was the one to intercept. No, it was not. The interception that time is by Russell. He intercepts the ball from the Knights. That stalls any attempt by Terre Haute North to get on the scoreboard here in the first half. For the second time, I should add. They have scored once. Well, that time they were going for Hyde out there in the left flat, and they threw it inside, and Russell just stepped right in front of the receiver.
20 seconds, the clock is running. Castle will get one play off and then head in.
14-6 is going to be our halftime score. And they're going to keep it on the ground, and they do so, handing off to Chapman, the fullback, and that's going to be it, the end of the first half of play. It's 14-6 here at North High School. And that's it as the teams head into the locker room at halftime. We're going to take a 60-step. Not a lot of size down there. On the roster, a couple 230s, 210s.
A lot of 190, 205s.
So it is now 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Bobby Bowen in the pocket. His backs are back blocking for him. Pass is complete to Greg Allen out at about the 31-yard line. That'll be a 1st down for the Patriots if they get a good mark, and it looks like they're going to get it. So that will be. It'll be 1st and 10 for Terre Haute North at their own 31-yard line.
Clock will start as soon as the chains are set. It's going now with 4:20 left in the football game. How far is Castle
Well, that's a good question. It's down around Evansville, so I'm saying it's a good hour and a half away, maybe a couple of hours away.
Very nice crowd.
Yes, it is. Excellent crowd. Hyatt's wide to the right side. Bowen to put the ball in the air again. On 1st and 10, pass is complete out to the left side and at the 40-yard line. Patriot receiver is brought down. That'll be shy of the first down by a couple of yards. And again, we're without a name for number 94, who's had a couple of passes tonight. So we do apologize for that, but sometimes they have some last-minute number changes, and we just don't get any updates on them.
Can't tell the players if they're not in the program.
That's right. Allen is wide to the left side. Bowen with a second down and a couple of yards to go. Lobs it out to Hyde. It's complete at the 35, inside the 25, down to the 20-yard line.
We got a pass interference call, too, and I'm sure that will be declined, and the Patriots will take that nice long gain, and that's been available to them all night long if they've been able to make connections on it. But that kind of pass was available several times this evening, and this is the first time that we've had the opportunity to see a Patriot catch the football.
That ball was very well thrown and just came right into Christian's arms. As a matter of fact, he looked the opposite way, and there was the ball. Clock is stopped. 3:10 to go in the ball game. 30-6. Castle has that lead. It looks like the Knights are going to go to 8-0 on the year, and North will have a 5-3 record going into their ball game at Martinsville next week. Pass interference is the call. It is, of course, as Randy said, declined. So it'll be first down now and 10 to go for Terre Haute North with the ball at the Castle 20-yard line. Well, it would be somewhat of a help. I think nothing else for the spirits of the Terre Haute North just to get another 6 points on the scoreboard here tonight.
I'm interested to say there haven't been a lot of people score 2 touchdowns on Castle this year.
I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. High backfield, Bowen's pass out in the flat again to Hyatt. Got it and couldn't hold on. That would have been the touchdown, but Hyatt just couldn't hold on. Had his hands on it, and he was hit, and it bobbled away. Stops the clock now with 3:05 to go in the ball game.
A lot of balls in the air tonight. It's been a long football game with it 20 till 10 now. So this last 3 minutes may take a while to run off.
Which is usually the case at times. Patriots break out of their huddle. Hyatt splits wide to the left side. It's Campbell and Allen out to the right. Bowen dropping back, looking to throw. Little screen play, going to be intercepted. That is Russell. He's out to the North 45, out to the Castle 45 rather, and brought down at the 48-yard line. Well, they were trying to set up a screen play, and Bowen just kind of lobbed the ball out there into a lot of traffic, and in that traffic was Rodney Russell of Castle.
It never developed like they wanted it to. You know, that's what happens when you get good pressure all the time. You have to throw the ball before you want to. And that's really what happened to Bowen there. He threw the ball. It was not a good throw. And no one was even really looking for the football. They just went right into the linebacker for Castle. He did a nice job, showed good speed, turning it up the field.
Clock is running. 2:38 to go in the ball game. Castle has, has the ball again. 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. It's going to be a pitch out. It's another new numbers in the lineup we don't even have on the roster, as a matter of fact. And so they carry out to the 49-yard line. Going to be a pickup of about a yard.
Been a very clean football game.
Sure has.
You know, the officials have done a nice job of keeping it under control, and in a ball game that has a lot of aggressive hitting like they've done tonight, it's a credit to the officials that things have been very well maintained, and a nice job by them this evening.
You pointed out in your officiating, you only use a 4-man crew, whereas we do have a 5-man crew here in Indiana.
That makes a difference, too, on pass, because you've got the 2 wingmen that have to go up and down the field, where that back judge can stand back there and and watch what's going on.
You betcha. Well, again, the Knights keep the ball on the ground, carrying to the Terre Haute North 48-yard line. That's going to bring up third down about 5 yards to go. Minute 35 to go. So Castle, I think they're being very nice, too, just being very calm to keep it on the ground, run the clock out here tonight. They've already got a 1. 30-6 is going to be the final outcome unless Castle breaks away with something. Knights up to the line. Chester is wide to the left side again. There's the snap. Mooney, the quarterback, going to pass over the middle, and that pass is incomplete, and that'll stop the clock with 1:06 to go in the contest.
I always liked that pass through years of watching football. Anytime that you can get your tight end 3-4 yards every time, I've always liked that pass. It keeps everybody honest, and your linebackers freeze for just a second with that little play fake on the inside. It can break into a big play. It's a consistent 4- and 5-yard gainer, and you can break it every now and then for the big gainer.
You betcha.
One swing at the back, and it's 4-5. One swing at the back.
Well, it's fourth down, and Castle's in punt formation. Mayfield deep to receive. There's the punt. Good high kick. It's going to hit inside the 30-yard line. Bounces around a couple of times, and Castle's saying it hit a North player. Oh, wait for you to see.
We'll have to wait and see what happens.
I think they're going to give it to North. Well, maybe not.
They've made no indication yet.
They certainly haven't. They're talking it over right now, whether or not the punt. They just gave it one of the North. It sure did. They say it came down, hit one of the North players. So when it rains, it does pour. Castle has the ball, 1st and 10 at the North 30-yard line.
There's really nothing you can do. The ball really looked good going up, and it came down like a good spiral is supposed to, and against the wind, it just fell straight down.
Castle has the ball. 40 seconds to go in the ball game. And they're keeping the ball on the ground once again, carrying straight up the middle. They may get one more play off, or they may just let the clock run out. There's 28 seconds to go. Castle has it wrapped up, 30-6. Our game of the week tonight on WBOW. They come out of the huddle, and they'll get one more off. 12 seconds to go. There's the snap again. It's going to be kept on the ground, and that's going to be the last play of the ball game with 4 seconds to go. Down to 2, down to 1, and that's the contest. Final score tonight, 30-6. Castle is the winner over Terre Haute North. We'll be back with a few final comments in 60 seconds. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Jasper, the furniture capital of the Midwest, and several of the manufacturers in this area have called on the Forrest Shearer Agency to design their insurance programs. The Forrest Shearer Agency gets to know their clients, their business.
Tonight. He certainly has it. Well, the North Band, I'm sure you can hear in the background, is entertaining us at halftime. The score is Castle 14 and Terre Haute North 6. We'll be back with more of our halftime show for North High in just a moment. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Moving dirt, carving out a new frontier, building a new road, a new high-rise building, all part of the heavy construction industry. This industry has some very specialized insurance requirements that are unique. The Forrest Shearer Insurance Agency knows these specific requirements and can design the right insurance package for this major industry. Knowledge of the client's business comes first at Forrest Shearer. Forrest Shearer, an independent insurance agency working for business and industry throughout the Midwest.
Business forms, letterhead.
Impressions.
Print and offset printed.
Impressions.
Invitations and announcements.
Impressions.
Catalogs. Business cards.
Impressions.
Complete color reproduction.
Impressions.
The day you want it, the way you want it. Impressions of Terre Haute, 1107 Ohio Street.
Well, back in North High at halftime. Castle 14, Terre Haute North 6. Steve Smith and Randy Ray with our game of the week tonight on WBOW. A lot of other games dotting the schedule throughout the area tonight. Terre Haute South has the night off, however. They will put their 4-2 record on the line tomorrow night down at Evansville Memorial. West Vigo's in action tonight. The Vikings are up at South Vermilion. Some of the other area games, Brazil's at Owen Valley. North Central's playing at South Preston. Putnam tonight. Duggars at Linton. Of course, the Miners are moved up to 13th in the single A class here after being dropped down to about the 18th spot after losing 2 in a row. Attica's at Rockville, Cascades at Greencastle, Covington's at Southmont, Tri-West tonight's on the road at Cloverdale. Again, Cloverdale trying to pick up their first win of the year. Turkey Run's at North Vermilion and Park Tutors down at Sullivan. We invite you to join us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock on WBOW Sports Open Line, and that's exactly what we will be doing. We'll be opening the phone lines, plus we'll be recapping all the high school action tonight, taking a look at some of the college games coming up, and we'll be opening the phone lines, and we invite you to call in and talk about the world of sports. Join us tomorrow morning at 9:05, immediately after the news, for the latest in sports here in the Wabash Valley. And that brings me up to this point. We introduced Randy Ray at the beginning of the ball game. Randy is the new general manager at WBOW Radio, and quite a sports fan. And that is going to be one of his projects, and one of ours to complete at the radio stations, is to be the sports voice of Terre Haute. We do a lot of sports right now, and we have a lot of projects coming up. And I know Randy's a real charger, and we're looking forward to him, Randy.
Well, you know, sports is very, very important in a radio station's community involvement. When I say sports, I mean local sports.
Sure.
Things that interest the people in Terre Haute. And right now, there is no leader in the field of sports in Terre Haute to my thinking anyway.
Right.
And, you know, there's real opportunity for us to be of service. There's many, many things going on. There's high school football, there's college football, there's college basketball, there's high school basketball, there's so much that goes on. There's professional sports. You know, in a year or so, Indianapolis is going to have a football team, probably an NFL football team. And when the league expands in 85, a lot happening in the way of sports in Terre Haute, and we've made a commitment at WBOW to do our very best to bring to you the very best in local sports, and we're just going to try to do just that.
We're very fortunate in our community here in the size of Terre Haute. We have 3 high schools, which gives us excellent high school coverage. North, South, of course, in West Vigo. We have Indiana State. We have Rose-Hulman, and we have a lot to offer and a lot of sports. And we simply want to be your sports station, and we're going to do it. This is our 5th year of high school sports. It has been very successful for us. And anytime you folks, if you have an idea about sports coverage or something you want a comment, whether bad or whether good, please write us at the radio station or call in on our Sports Open Line on Saturday mornings. We'll put you right on the air, and we'll talk about anything you want to. And if you get a little carried away, we've got a little dump switch, we call it. We can take care of you, so don't worry about that. But we really do. We want to be involved, and we want you to know what you think.
That's the only way that we can find out what the listener wants to hear, what the sports fan wants to hear. You know, we're very, very open. We want to program in the way of sports what people want to hear. And the only way we can find that out is through participation, through people calling in on Sports Open Line, through people talking to you and writing letters and talking to me. You know, we're very, very open. You know, we have no set plans. We'll look at about anything.
We take criticism quite well. We know we're not perfect. If something goes wrong, you betcha. In this business, you have to. Well, again, this football season's about over. I'll give you our next 2 games coming up. We'll be down at South next week as South entertains Evansville Central. Then we close out the regular season October 27th out of Memorial Stadium with the North-South ball game. And, of course, if North or South make the playoffs, or West Vigo, we will be there with all the action. To let you know, next week, the schedule does not get easier for Terre Haute North. They play at Martinsville next Friday evening. At Martinsville. That's enough said right there, because the Artesians, I believe, are undefeated going into this ball game, their ball game tonight. I'm not sure their opponent for tonight, but they are undefeated going into that ball game. The West Vigo Vikings next week, they will be playing on the road also. They will be at Jasper. Then they close out the season on Wednesday night, the 27th, at Owen Valley. And, of course, that means basketball is not far away, and we've already put together the tentative basketball for this year, and we'll be getting into basketball about mid-November on WBOW with complete high school coverage. But this football season has zapped by. 2 more games for our broadcast, Evansville Central at South next Friday. Then a week from this Wednesday, it'll be the North-South game, and we hope to see you out at Memorial Stadium stadium, but if you can't, if you have to work or whatever, take your radio along. And while we have the time, we have always liked to point out and ask our listeners to thank the sponsors, because without them, these broadcasts certainly would not be possible. And all of our sponsors support the local high school sports very much throughout the county.
I'm looking forward to the basketball season, too, Steve. All my life I've heard about Indiana high school basketball. And having grown up in the state of Kansas, where they take a lot of pride in their high school basketball and the tremendous college programs in the state of Kansas, you read in Sports Illustrated, you know, the schools that rival Kansas as far as in high school basketball, and you always read about the Indiana schools. And having seen some of the good Indiana ball players go to the University of Kansas, David Magley was Mr. Indiana basketball one year, went to the University of Kansas. So they've always talked about the tremendous high school basketball in the state of Indiana, and I'm looking forward to that with a lot of anticipation.
Well, you're really going to like it, especially with our tournament time with you get one shot, all schools in it, and you get one shot. If you lose, you're out. It makes it very interesting. Both teams will return to the field now, and it's a 14-6 lead. Castle's leading here at halftime. We'll be back with the second half kickoff in a moment. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Excuse me, average-type person on the street.
Yes, what can I do for you?
What comes to mind when I say Roman Brothers Marathon?
Marathon gasoline.
Yes, what else?
Convenient north side location.
That's right, at the corner of Lafayette and Fort Harrison Road.
Roman Brothers also does great repair service, tires, batteries, and has self-service pumps.
Boy, you sure know about Roman Brothers Marathon. Are you sure you're average?
Well, you asked.
But not everybody knows about all the great things Roman Brothers Marathon does. Oh, you dropped your Russian-English dictionary.
Oh, thank you, comrade. I must be going.
Hey, you're not a... Police, stop that man.
Judge Hugh McQuillan speaks about bail.
I believe in high bail and will continue to set bail to keep our community safe and to keep accused dangerous criminals from fleeing, threatening victims, or adversely influencing jurors. The setting of bail is not just a routine with me. I carefully consider each person and set the amount of bail for each particular crime. I will continue to set high bail to keep our community safe.
Judge Hugh McQuillan, an honorable man, a tough judge. Paid for by the re-elect Judge Hugh McQuillan Committee. Bob Durd, Chairman.
Well, we're getting ready for the second half. Both teams are back out on the field. Castle's leading by a 14-6 score, and we got an entire second half to play, so we'll wait and see what happens. And I want to mention the college football tomorrow. It'll be Indiana State against Eastern Illinois. First Eastern Illinois undefeated coming into the ball game. The Sycamores with a 4-2 record, and a team that's really banged up after that 38-0 loss to Maryland. Starting quarterback Jeff Miller's out. Scott Bartell will be in for the Sycamores. Of course, they also lost starting linebacker Dan Mayer for the entire season. So it's going to be a big challenge, and will show a lot of character if the Sycamores can come back and win tomorrow afternoon.
And on WBOW, you'll be able to hear the Fighting Irish from Notre Dame.
You betcha. And that, I'm not sure the kickoff time on that, but I believe it's around 1:10 or so, roughly, something like that. Rose Almond's on tomorrow afternoon. We got to give the Engineers a plug. They play a Wabash team that is 5-0. That's a 1:30 out of Phil Brown Field. So that's it in the weekend football. A lot of it coming up. The latest on the NFL strike, nothing new. They broke their talks off late this afternoon after about 21 straight hours of talks, and nothing new.
We'll be playing next Sunday.
Is that a prediction?
That's a prediction.
Well, you know what? I think you're pretty close to right. I even think something's going to happen before this All-Star game, because I don't think they want to play in these All-Star games Sunday or Monday.
I know they don't. And just looking, most of the guys have gone 4 weeks now without picking up a check.
Yeah.
And the first 2 weeks is okay. The third week, you get to wonder. The fourth week, your wife's on your back. And anybody who's worked for a living knows 4 weeks is a long time to go without a paycheck.
Sure is.
And especially when you're used to making the money that they're making, you're talking pretty good pieces of money, because you only get paid 16 times that year. After each ball game on Monday, you pick up your check.
We're ready to go at the second half. Swanson's kick. It's a driving kick that goes, hits inbounds and then went out of bounds at about the 12-yard line.
They'll spot it on the 40, and Castle will go from there.
So Castle have the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. You know, a good example talking about the money is Indiana State's Craig Schaefer played for him last year. Craig's with the Cardinals doing a good job this year, and there he is in his rookie season. I believe he got a little bonus and is making not a lot of money. And boy, and really it's the younger players that are really being hurt. Those guys in their 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year, I would imagine.
Oh, sure, because you don't have that savings built up or any kind of other outside interests yet.
Well, Castle starts off with splitting their backfield. They keep it on the ground, and guess who? Bozemer's the ball carrier out to the 43-yard line. It's going to be a 3-yard gain, and second down now and 7 yards to go for the Castle Knights. Second half just underway. Steve Smith and Randy Ray with the action tonight. It's a 14-6 Castle lead. And we just got a score a little while ago in the Cardinal games. The Cardinals are up 3-0, but I'm still not sure what inning it's in. But it's got to be about the fourth or fifth inning at this point. Chester is wide to the right side. Davis fakes the pitch out, hands off to Brosmer coming up the middle. Brosmer out to the 50-yard line. Well, they faked the pitch out and then handed off to Brosmer on the delay going up the middle of the line, and he is close to a first down for the Castle Knights. They mark the ball right at the 50-yard line. And we may have a timeout for officials' measurement, and that's exactly what we will have.
Brosmer's picked up 93 yards thus far in the football game on the ground. He's on his way to a 200-yard night if this keeps up.
And he, like you said, he looks like 180, 185 pounds, and, well, I'd probably say a good 6'1".
Did we not hear Coach Wright say this afternoon that Brosmer was going to be taking one of his college visits tomorrow to Indiana State University?
I believe that's exactly right. We sure did. We were out there at the stadium this afternoon chatting with him, and that is the person that he said.
He certainly does have college potential. And also, it's tough to tell up here watching a football game who has college potential and who doesn't as far as linemen are concerned. But you can pick out running backs who are very, very outstanding, and Brosmer is outstanding and has the size to play it.
First and 10 for the Knights at the 50-yard line. Davis back to throw, and it is going to be incomplete and almost intercepted. Chester was the intended receiver. Back here defensively was Billy McCarty for Terre Haute North, and he made a leap for the ball, but he couldn't hold on.
Davis had a lot of pressure on him as he threw that ball and was decked just as soon as he let the ball go. A nice job of blocking at the point of attack for Castle, but they're breaking down a little bit on their pass blocking, and Davis had intense pressure that time.
Castle now with a second down and 10 yards to go. They have a 14-6 lead in this ball game, our game of the week tonight on WBOW. Backfield is split this time, and they're going to keep the ball on the ground. Chapman's going to carry straight up the middle, hit right at the line of scrimmage. Big defensive effort by the Patriots that time, right at the line. Fissick was in there on the stop, and by George, it looked like Brad Doan was leading the way on the tackle again.
Chapman ran that same play in the first half for about a 14-yard gain, and maybe some of the adjustments that North has done at halftime. Basically, it's a game when you're running misdirection of staying at home and depending on your players to handle their own job. And that's exactly what happened that time. People stayed at home, people did their jobs, and thus the play was stopped for no gain.
It's going to be third down now and 9 yards to go. Davis, big rush on, dropping back, gets the pass away. The pass is complete to Huff inside Terre Haute North territory, down at the 34-yard line. Well, boy, Huff was wide open over the middle. Again, pressure was on, and Davis, again, he does it time and time again. He gets that pass off.
It's a very catchable ball, too. It's not a bullet.
Yeah.
It's a ball that's thrown with authority, but it's a nice, tight spiral, and it's a very catchable football.
10 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third quarter. It'll be Chester wide to the right side. Now the other Brosmer in the slot. They hand off this time to Dave Brosmer straight up the middle, driving for a gain of a couple of yards on the play. In there defensive. Hotlick was in there. Fissick around on the stop defensively. Gain of a yard. It'll be second down now and 9 to go for the Knights. While we're on the drive again, the Knights say it'd be a very must for Terre Haute North to stop Castle from driving this time. North's offense going to have to come up with the passes. If you've indicated at halftime there in the first half, they had some very good passes, especially there in the first quarter of play, but just couldn't get the receivers to hold on. Chapman and Brosmer make up the backfield, pitch out to Brosmer. Behind his blocking, inside the 25, the 20. He may go all the way, and he will. Touchdown. Brosmer went inside the block of his fullback, Chapman, cut up field, and from there it was a foot race, and he went the distance.
33-yard touchdown run for Brosmer. Trouble right off the bat when they went around the defensive end. The defensive end has got to play football on the outside. He's got to try to stop charges of people blocking him. He's got to try to string it outside so pursuit can make tackles. At that time, the defensive end got caught inside, and Brosmer showed what great speed he has, going 33 yards untouched.
He sure does. McDowell is ready for the kick. There's the snap. Kick is up. And the kick is good. So with 9:12 to go in the third quarter, it's Castle 21 and North 6. We'll be back with a kickoff in 60 seconds. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Terre Haute First National says people come first at first.
The First Plus 24-hour teller from Terre Haute First. You can make loan, mortgage, and Christmas club payments and pay 8 different utility bills. First Plus performs 33 special services 24 hours a day. Only at Terre Haute First National Bank. Member FDIC.
At Terre Haute First National, people come first at first.
There's a legend in Riley. Folks who drive through those parts tell about John's Corner Service Marathon. John's will serve travelers and neighbors as well, offering trustworthy winterizing, tune-ups, regular and snow tires, towing service, and self-service pumps with full service attention to every vehicle, local or not. And of course, John's is an authorized marathon dealer. You know how neighborly they are. Next time you're out Riley way, you'll feel safer knowing you can count on John's Corner Service Marathon, the legend in Riley.
WBOW, Terre Haute.
On the kickoff, Mayfield returns the ball to the 23-yard line, so North will take over. First and 10 at their own 23, and it's going to be a matter of North getting the ball in the air and coming up with some quick yardage.
21-6 is certainly not out of any football game, but when you're playing a high school team as good as Castle High School, you're going to have to score early in the third quarter, because once you kick the ball back to Castle, they're a ball control offense. They can keep it for 4, 5, 6 minutes at a shot very easily.
North backfield's in the eye. Collette and Mayfield still make up the backfield. Bobby Bowen will on the right to pass, and it is almost intercepted. It was out to Campbell, and making the defensive move was Craig Day stepping in front of the receiver, and that would have been 6 more points.
The ball is out in the flat, and anytime you throw the ball sideways, you take a risk of throwing an interception. It's a tough pass to complete, and very close to being complete and very close to being intercepted both.
That one was incomplete. It'll be second down now and 10 for the Patriots, again at their own 23-yard line. And again, the last report we had on the ball game was the Cardinals had a 3-0 lead. Had to be in about the 4th or the 5th inning, I would think. Given out to Campbell on a reverse around this side, out across the 25-yard line and brought down at the 28.
Picked up about 4 or 5 on the play. Well, there's more than that. 6 yards.
Yeah, going to give him about 6. It'll be third down now and 4 yards to go with the ball out at the 29-yard line. 28, they're going to mark it at about the 28. So North comes up with a third down. They need this one to keep the drive alive. They're at their own 28-yard line. We have 8 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third quarter. Castle's on top, 21-6. Campbell comes in motion to this side. Bobby Bowen fakes the handoff, looks back the opposite side to Hyatt. Got the pass after the 35, tripped up and brought down at about the 39. Flag.
Got a clip, it looks like.
One of the guys getting outside there, trying to help Hyatt after he caught the pass. He carried it to about the 39-yard line after receiving the ball. Got about 5 more yards, but now they talked the penalty over, and the North players are already marching back to the other end.
I believe Greg Allen got caught. He was in the defensive backfield trying to block, and it's the call either has to be a clip or an offensive pass interference.
So they're talking it over with Castle, their captain, Rodney Russell,
blocking below the waist.
The illegal block.
That's a tough call too. It's a judgment call, because you can't initiate the block below the waist, but you can hit in the numbers and slide down.
So it's where the initial contact is made then.
A lot of times an official, when he makes that call, has to make sure that he has seen the entire play. Because if you just turn around and see somebody in somebody's legs, you can't call it because you didn't see where the initial contact was made.
There it is, this signal, illegal block on Terre Haute North. That puts the ball back at the 24-yard line. So it's going to be third down for the Patriots now. Third down at about 18 or 19 yards to go for a first down. Well, they were sitting in pretty decent position, 9 yards, excuse me. Third down, about 9 yards to go. North comes up to the line. That receiver's wide to the left side. We're in the third quarter of play. Bowen dropping back, looking for a receiver, passes out to the right side, and it is intercepted by Brosmer. Brosmer returns the ball to the 40-yard line of Terre Haute North. Patriots had two receivers out there. The ball was in between them and the man, Dave Brosmer, that has done so much tonight for Castle, is doing it on defense as well.
Campbell had a couple steps on the defender from Castle High School, and could Bowen aired it out about 6 yards further down the field, there might have had a reception. But there was quite a crowd around that football when it finally did come down. It's tough to roll to your right and throw back to your left, and he kind of moving pocket to the right, looked left, let it go left, and that's a long throw, an awful long throw.
We have 7:07 to go in the third quarter. Castle on top 21-6, and the Knights have just called for a timeout. Our coach, John Liddy, is not very happy about something, apparently, because he's out on the field, which he can do, as we talked about, and he's yelling at his players to get over there in a huddle. North comes into the ball game tonight with a 5-2 mark. They need a win to stay alive with playoff hopes. Castle's 7-0 coming into the ball game, ranked number 3 in the state in Class AAA. Patriots next week, when they hit the road down to Martinsville, they'll be taking on, of course, another AAA team with an outstanding program. And as I said, I believe Martinsville's undefeated going into tonight's ball game, but I'm not sure of their opponent. Next Friday night, we'll be on the air at South as Evansville Central will entertain Terre Haute South, and it'll be the North-South game, October 27th at Memorial Stadium, and that will be on a Wednesday evening. Well, North is going to need just a lot of breaks here, Randy, and get a potent offense going, and I really have to feel at this point, you hate to ever put anybody out of the game, because sports certainly is a funny game, but with 7:07 to go, if Castle would score in here again, boy, it would look kind of dim from that standpoint, but who knows?
Certainly make life very tough for high school.
It would definitely be a great comeback. They're going to keep the ball on the ground, and their North defense smothers the ball carrier that time. It was not Brosmer carrying the ball. Dillman, it looks like, is in the lineup, and it was a ball carrier. So Dillman's thrown for a loss by the North defense, a couple of yard loss. It'll be second down now and 12 yards to go. Castle has the ball at the Terre Haute North 42-yard line.
Oh, and you got to look at it like this too. Should something very good happen on defense for North High School, they should pick up 6 points. They're right back in the football game.
You betcha. That would certainly make a difference. Chester is wide to the right side. Dion Chester. The backfield splits this time. Davis going to keep the ball rolling to the right side. Looking to throw. Brosmer wide open at the 35, at the North 30, still on his feet, inside the 20, and brought down at about the 15-yard line. One of the officials also brought down. That brings a cheer from the crowd. Well, I tell you, they had a lot of play action there in the backfield that time, and I guess you would call it a play action, and then finally he rolled to the right side, and Brosmer came out of the backfield and was wide open.
Castle has used their slot very, very well. You know, he hasn't carried the ball but about 3 times, but he's been involved in plays time after time after time. The slot it stops your linebackers from moving is what it does, and you saw what happened. They brought the back out into the flat and hit him with the pass, and it was that motion by the slot and that fake by the slot that caused all that.
1st and 10 for Castle. Brosmer on the pitch out. Inside the block of Chapman, still on his feet, driving down to about the 6-yard line. Boy, that guy is just tough to bring down. And we should point out, too, that Neil Chapman, the fullback in front of him, has been doing an excellent job of leading the way and blocking for him. 5:35 to go in the third quarter of play. Castle on top, 21-6. They're threatening to score again. They have the ball now, second down and about 4 yards to go. Maybe about 5 yards to go, and it looks like they, too, could pick up another first down. They get the ball just outside the goal line. It's going to be second down now, about 5 to go. High backfield. They fake the handoff, and they're going to hand off to Chris Brosmer coming around the right side. The North defense will have nothing to do with it, and they throw him for a loss back at about the 8-yard line. Fissick was in there defensively along with Billy McCarter to stop Chris Bozeman, that time. Chris Bozeman. The brothers, Chris Brosman and Dave Brosman. Dave's the one's been doing all the damage. Big second down place. Now going to be third down, about 8 yards to go for the Knights to pick up a first down. 4 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the third quarter. Our game of the week tonight on WBOW. Steve Smith and Randy Ray with the play-by-play action from North High. Jump pass over the middle. It looks like it's complete. Touchdown. It's going to be. The Knights go straight over the middle. And that pass was complete to number 85, Kenny Brown.
Very nicely done, too.
Boy, it certainly was, wasn't it?
We're seeing a class act in this Castle Knight football team tonight. They're definitely for real. 7-0, up 27-6 over a good North High School football team. This Castle is just a very quality football team.
Well, Castle, unless they would really stumble here in the last two ball games, will definitely make the playoffs. And I think, it's had that gut feeling the way they look tonight, we may be hearing about them up at the state finals. McDowell getting ready for the point after. Ball's down. Kick is up. And this one looks good. Nope, it is no good. Wide to the left side. So that's about the only bad news that Castle has had this evening.
Certainly was high enough.
4:28 to go in the third quarter. It's a 27-6 ball game. Castle leading North tonight in our game of the week on WBLW. Jay will have a recap of all the area scores as they come in tonight, and we'll be on the air tomorrow morning with Sports Open Line, and we'll be recapping all the area high school games, plus the top teams rated throughout the state. We'll be recapping those scores, taking a look at the preview of college. We'll preview college action, and also we'll be opening the phone lines. We invite you to call in. And
it's a big week in the Missouri Valley Conference this week. We have several good ball games. Tulsa's going to have their hands full this week, and of course, a Valley race is really up for grabs with Wichita State and Tulsa. Of course, Wake not having the year that people thought they would have this year, but a very formidable football team nonetheless.
And McDowell's kick goes into the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Indiana State right now, they're undefeated in conference play. They have to play Illinois State, Southern Illinois,
Wichita State.
No, they don't play Wichita this year. They play Tulsa. That's the last game of the year. They win those three, they go undefeated in the conference this year.
Well, Tulsa's got a super football team this year. There's no doubt about it. They beat up on the University of Kansas, and I happened to see Tulsa on television in that ball game, and it was a very physical football game. The Golden Hurricane always have a very physical football team.
That they certainly do. 1st and 10 for the Patriots, and Bowen's pass complete to Hyatt out at the 35-yard line. And man, let me tell you, Hyatt deserves some credit for holding onto the ball.
Brosner really broke him in two. What a tremendous hit by Brosner.
Well, it's a 1st and 10 for Terre Haute North, and that's what they're going to have to do. No doubt about it. They've just got to get the ball in the air more to complement what run they can put together. 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. North has the ball. Third quarter, 4 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third quarter. 27-6 ball game. Castle's on top. And Bowen drops back in the pocket to throw. Receivers open. Hyde again. Can't hold on to the ball.
He's paid the price tonight.
That's right. I was going to say, he probably was thinking as that ball was coming, maybe he's right by me again.
He got stuck pretty good as soon as he touched the football. A lot of time left in the football game, the entire fourth quarter, and 3:58 left in the third quarter. Should North get on the scoreboard and make it a 27-14 ball game? I've seen weirder things than that happen than to get back into the football game.
North, since that score they got in the first quarter, they really have not been able to get back in their own territory. They looked pretty good on that scoring drive, but they have just not been able to do much since. Backfield split for the Patriots. Bobby Bowen on 2nd and 10, rolling back. Pass is complete. Out in the right flat, and now there's a fumble. If they called a complete pass, they say it was down. Good call. We can use that one. Pass was complete out to Mayfield, I believe. Mayfield dropped the ball, but they say his knee was down.
People on the Castle side just can't believe it.
That's another one of those tough calls, and it's a very legitimate call if the knee is down to the ground. It doesn't have to be both of them. It just has to be one, right?
It's always tough to take when you're a coach, too, to see that ball on the ground and your man come up with it and then to have it blown dead.
Yeah. There really wasn't, of course, much of a pickup on the play. Only about 3 yards gained. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 for North with 3:20 to go in the third quarter. High backfield, and I believe it's either Ward or Allen wide to the right side. Draw play to Mayfield. Out across the 40-yard line to the 42. That's going to be shy of a first down. It's going to bring up a 4th down for Terre Haute North. 4th down now, and about 4 yards to go for a Patriot first down. With the ball at their own 46.5-yard line. That's going to put them in a punt formation. Bozemer dropping back deep to receive for the Knights along with Kenny Brown. Christian's had some big rushes on him tonight. Rather Hyatt, I don't know why I keep saying Christian, but Hyatt, he gets that kick away. Why? It's a spiral, but on a wobbly side, it's inside the 35, rolling inside the 30, and down to the 25-yard line. And the Patriots will down it there. Castle Knights with a 7-0 record take over 1st and 10 just outside their own 25-yard line.
We're checking numbers to see who comes in for Castle to see if they're going to put the Rosemer back in the backfield. He's had a big night already, 132 yards on the night. We're still in the 3rd period.
Score is 27-6. Correction, 27-6 in favor of Castle over Terre Haute North here this evening. Castle backfield in the eye. Davis on the draw play. They keep it on the ground, and that is Dillman running with the ball straight up the middle across the 30 to about the 32 or 33-yard line.
The little guy ran hard, 140-pound tailback. And he put the shoulders down and ran hard up the middle and got a couple extra yards.
And he is running in place of Bozeman now in the lineup. So apparently Coach John Liddy is going to get some new players in there with a fairly comfortable lead.
And why take a chance getting somebody hurt when you're up 27-6 and from the way it looks in control of the football game?
We have an apparent officials timeout down on the field. They're getting ready to tell us some more here in a minute. There's another whistle. It is an officials timeout. And I have no idea what the problem is. They're talking to someone in the north huddle, and I don't know if it's the equipment problem or not enough men on the field. Yeah, I think that. Well, I don't know. Norris had a couple of players in here. Collar went in, came out.
Well, here's what the call is. Number 36 for Terre Haute North, who is John Collette. He can't leave the field once he's come on.
Ah, okay.
And once he's come on, he can't come back off.
Gotcha.
He's got to stay in for one play.
It's an high backfield once again. It's going to be a pitch out. It's going to be Dillman around left end. Dillman gets some blocking, and he drives out to the 35-yard line for a pickup of about 2 or 3 yards. Both got some pretty good pursuit that time. It looked like Billy McCarty was out there bringing him down.
He's just a little guy, too, 140 pounds, Dillman is, and he really turns it upfield. He's got good foot speed.
They had some good blocking outside once again. Exactly 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter. In our game of the week for North High tonight, Steve Smith and Randy Ray with the action. Castle's on top 27-6, and more and more this showing us why they deserve that 3rd place ranking in Class AAA here in Indiana. Chester is wide to the right side for Castle. Davis keeps it on the ground. Dillman running room out across the 40, and they bring him down at the 44-yard line. Well, if Brosmer's not in there, Dillon steps in, and he does an outstanding job of running.
Very nice job on the line of scrimmage by Castle High School. They're very aggressive at the point of attack. They fire off the football well. They stay with their blocks, too. You'll notice as soon as the whistle blows, people are still trying to make contact with people. They're looking for people to hit.
They just told us the Cardinals leading 4-0 there in the 7th. I think they said the top of the 7th. It is Davis dropping back long downfield. Pass incomplete. Chester was there, but the ball was overthrown. Boy, you're right. You hit it on the head there in the 1st quarter. When Davis goes back in that, there could be 20 guys right around him. He's just calm and cool. Just steps back here and throws the ball, even if he does get clobbered.
He really looks solid. And you can look for him to be playing football somewhere next year, Steve. He's just too good a football player. And with Castle 7-0, 8-0 after tonight, probably, he's going to get a lot of looks from a lot of major schools. He really looks good throwing the football.
15 seconds, excuse me.
Big kid, 180 pounds, too. He looks tall, lanky, and the type that can handle it.
Guess who? Dillman carries straight up the middle to be shy of a 1st down inside North Territory to the 48-yard line. And that's going to be it in the end of the 3rd quarter with only 1 second to go. There's the buzzer. Castle on top at the end of 3, 27-6. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter in a minute. This is the sports voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Business forms, letterhead.
Impressions.
Quick and offset printing.
Impressions.
Invitations and announcements.
Impressions.
Catalogs. Business cards.
Impressions.
Complete color reproduction.
Impressions.
The day you want it, the way you want it. Impressions of Terre Haute, 1107 Ohio Street.
Is your car ready for winter yet? Well, if not, here's a suggestion. Don Marshall's Marathon at 1835 Holman. They're a neighborhood service station. Think of how many years they've been there, offering quality Marathon products, engine tune-ups, brake work, you know, all the things a neighborhood service station should be doing. Don Marshall Marathon has set a reputation in the city over the years, a reputation they live up to every day. After all, good, trustworthy service is the best feature Don Marshall Marathon has to offer. Come see us today. Don Marshall Marathon at the corner of Holman and 19th Streets.
Fourth quarter just underway. Castle on top by 27-6 score. In our game of the week tonight on WBOW, Steve Smith and Randy Ray with all the action from North High School. First play in the fourth quarter gives Castle a first down, and they're in good field position at the Terre Haute North 44-yard line. It's a battle of the clock now for the Patriots to try and get back in this ball game. Castle has been very consistent. Brosmer's back in the lineup, and when he's not in there, Dillman's in there running the ball, doing just as good a job. But Brosmer is back in the lineup.
Dillman ran the ball 4 times for 33 yards while he was in.
That don't turn out to be too bad of an average. Backfield again with Chester wide to the right side, and it's going to be an option pass to the far side, and it is complete. To Chapman, the fullback, at the 25, down to the 20, breaking tackles to the 15-yard line. Still on his feet. Well, they say finally his knee went down at the 15-yard line. Well, that was Kenny Brown, one of the ends on an end-around option pass. And I tell you, Chapman was wide open out there in the right flat.
Little flea flicker.
Yeah, it sure was. 1st and 10 now at the 15-yard line for the Castle Knights. They've run a little bit of everything that they have used here this evening. Mostly it's been their running, of Brosmer, as we talked about. Chester will be coming out of the huddle. Deion Chester wide to the left side of the Knights. First down and 10 yards to go at the North 15-yard line for Castle. Pitch out. Brosmer, right side. Hits on into the far 13-yard line. It is brought down. North Order defensively. Van Landingham is also over there, and Hickett's over there. Doug Hickett on the top. Stop. It's going to be a 5-yard pickup on the play. Second down and 5 yards to go. And they mark the ball just outside the 10-yard line. It's going to be marked at about the 11. Again, next Friday night we'll be at South High as the Braves will entertain Evansville Central. We close out the regular season on the 27th of October at Memorial Stadium with a North-South ball game. That's a Wednesday evening. You might want to mark that down. Not a Friday, but a Wednesday. And we'll have flags on the play there. It's going to be motion on the left side.
A lot of people are going to ask, 27-6 up with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Why would you throw a flea flicker? Well, the ball game's out of reach really now for North High School, and what Castle High School is doing, they're trying to pick up some points in the rating system.
Just what I was getting ready to say, you betcha.
You can't, because as far as the ratings go, I don't know how they do it in Indiana, but in the state of Missouri, who you play, the points you score, it all goes into some kind of intricate index type system, and you get a power rating out of it.
Well, it doesn't work that way here. It's strictly AP. They have a coach's poll and the writers' poll, but still, nonetheless, all the writers and everybody, they cannot see each team play, so a lot of times it's the same thing. They go over that, the score that they see every week, and they see you racking up a lot of scores. They assume you have a good team, which is not, I don't like the system. I don't believe in polls anyway, but I guess you got to have something to shoot for.
We've proved time and time again that what do the writers and broadcasters know?
That's exactly right. Davis rolling to the right, dropping back to throw in the end zone. It is incomplete, they say. Well, Castle almost had another touchdown. The receiver, Ken Brown, was down there, had his hands on the ball, but about 3 North defenders were down there and batted it away. Or stripped it out of his hands, more like it.
We're going to get to see a field goal attempt now. They'll snap the ball from about, it looks like, the 10-yard line, so we'll have a 26-yard field goal attempt.
Matt McDowell will be back kicking. That's another guy that some of the ISU coaches mentioned today to keep an eye on. He is a very consistent kicker. He's a straight-on kicker, and the point afters tonight have been booming kicks, and the height has really been exceptional. So they're ready for the field goal attempt. The ball is down, kicks up. It's got plenty as far as height. The distance, the kick is good. So here in the fourth quarter, 9:41 to go to ball game. And Castle is now just taking a commanding lead. It's going to be tough for North to get back in this one. It's a 30-6 ball game at this point. We're going to take a 60-second timeout to catch up on the commercial word, and we'll be back in 1 minute. This is the Sports Voice of Terre Haute, WBOW.
Hey, Guido! Dad, what do you want? Guido, will you look out here? The whole restaurant, she's full of people. I know, Antonio. Ain't it a wonderful? Guido, how are we going to feed them all? This is a pizza inn, Antonio. How do you think we're going to feed them a pizza? What kind of pizza is big enough for all of these people? Deep dish pan pizza, that's what. Pizza Inn deep dish pan pizza give you twice of the cheese, a secret crust recipe, and bigger portions. Oh, that's so good. You make me hungry, Guido. Right, like it Amanda says.
So pizza out, it's a pizza in.
Your home investment is MAP.
When you're buying paint, remember, there is a big difference. MAB is the best paint you can buy. It's been test-proven time and time again. So remember, if you value your time, your money, and your home, MAB is the best investment you can make.
Cause your home investment is always MAP.
Well, on the kickoff, Mayfield takes the ball, has some blockers in front of him, but boy, they come through and trip him up, and it was Buddy Stinson on the tackle. North has the ball first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Down 30-6, 9 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the ball game.
We've seen a very balanced football team by Castle. Good special teams, good offense, and an excellent defense.
And that certainly adds up to that 7-0 record they have. Campbell deep in motion to the left side, passes out in the flat, and is complete. I believe it is. No, it's incomplete, isn't it? He had his hands on it. I thought he held on to it. That was incomplete.
North High School's dropped a lot of footballs tonight, and a couple of those balls that could have been caught in the second quarter might have been a turning point in this football game. And it'll be interesting to see what Coach Stanley has to say after this one, because they lost 27-6 last week in Bloomington with 396 yards offense. Tonight they've moved the ball with some success against Castle High School, but just have not been able to put any points on the board.
Backfield's in the eye. Collette, and it's Mayfield at the top of the eye. There's the snap. Mayfield does not get a hand up. Bowen fakes it, rolling to the right side. Pass is almost intercepted by guess who again? Brosmer. And we have a flag on the play way after the incomplete pass.
Well, it came after the play is over. It'll be a dead ball, personal foul against somebody.
That pass that time, they had the man coming. It was that Mayfield, I think, he'll be down to the backfield. He didn't want him looking for the ball. So the quarterback or receiver, one of the two, were messed up that time. Yeah.